Hi, I'm Jill, your movement and wellness educator. In this video, you'll learn a short flow to help you connect to your center and release stuck stress in your upper body. Have fun and listen to your body. I'll see you on the inside in just a few seconds. Hi, I'm Jill. Thanks for joining me. Let's see what happens during this flow session today. Go ahead and come down to your mat, and we're going to start on all fours. So take a moment to get your mat set up, and then just come down to a comfy place where your hands are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. Tuck your toes under, and just take a moment to connect your big toes to the mat. And then we're going to start a gentle rocking motion, leading with your tailbone and leading with your head. Leading with your tailbone and leading with the crown of your head. Again, gently pulling back and gently gliding forward. And two more times, gently gliding back and gently gliding forward. And just come to a place where you feel like your weight is centered on all fours. And we're going to rock a little bit right and left. So feel your pelvis just gently gliding over your hip sockets, gliding one way, and then shifting your weight and gliding the other, sensing that there's a gentle grounding force. So gently pressing through your left hand as you glide to the right, and pressing through your right hand as you glide to the left. Just feeling that clean side to side motion. And again, coming back to center where you feel like your weight is centered on all fours. It's okay if you need to take a little bit of an adjustment as you gain some length in your body as we move. And let's connect those dots. So we're going to go forward and around to the side and reaching your tailbone back, around to the left, front, side, back, again, side, front, side, and back, and side, front, hold, let's reverse, take it to the other side using those grounding forces, connecting through 6 spots, your hands, your knees, and your toes tucked under. Take it front, side, back, and side. Take it front, side, back, side. This is our last one. We'll end it to the front here. Release your feet and just take a little bit of a kick, patting the tops of your feet and your shins on the mat, energizing that top front line of your lower body. And then rest, tuck your toes under. Let's shift our attention to our lower tummies. Without moving your spine, see if you can find an inhale and gently let your lower belly release and hang heavy like a soft, warm cat belly. And exhale, gently hug your belly towards your spine. Inhale, belly softens and releases. Don't change the shape of your spine. Exhale, belly comes to spine. Spine stays the same. Again, inhale, belly softens. And exhale, belly hugs in 360 degrees. And soften the tummy. And exhale, draw it in. And inhale, let it soften. And exhale, draw it in. And let's add some spinal motion to it. So we have exhale, leading with the tailbone to curve the pelvis all the way up through the crown of the head. Inhale, release those sitting bones. Send your tailbone high, let it ripple through your spine. Again, smoothing out the edges, tailbone all the way up to your head. And tailbone releases, rippling through the spine, gentle lift. Again, curving under, hollowing and rounding, and lifting and extending. Just breathing in a way that feels normal and natural to you. Notice that there is a slight undulating quality to it. It's not a perfect curve in one direction or the other, and your pelvis always leads first. So tucking your tailbone under, rippling through the spine, and lifting the tailbone as you widen your sitting bones and float the head. Good. Now see if you just have a sense of more awareness of your sitting bones shooting straight out behind you, out the back side, rather than being tucked under towards your knees like we get from sitting so much. You can kind of shift side to side again. You might notice at this point that your wrists have had a good bit of work. So again, just come back. You can either tap your feet or just take some wrist circles. So that little sequence is just a good way to start sensing where your tummy is at, your core connections, and where your weight is at regarding your forelimbs in relationship to your spine. So with that said, maybe we'll just leave that sequence for now, and you can stay kneeling, and let's do a little bit of work through our hands and wrists. So go ahead and pick a hand, bring it up, and just bring it into your line of vision where you can see it. And we're going to start with our thumb, moving through some finger spirals. So pick a direction, and you're going to take 3 to 4 spirals in one direction. The goal is making sure that your joint right here stays centered in the socket, that there's even movement on all sides as you circle, and reversing that circle. Just sensing that each and every finger has its own connection into your center and its own pathway of movement. And moving on to your index finger, circling for 3 or 4, and reversing. And moving to your middle finger. Oh, maybe you'll find some sticky spots that aren't moving so good. And reversing. And finding your ring finger. Just lowering your intention and your focus to be present with the motion that you're experiencing in your body, and reversing. And finding your pinky. You might even notice that your shoulder is maybe getting a little bit tired from just holding this position of the weight of your arm up. And then just rest, and we'll switch sides. So bring that other hand up, again, finding your thumb, keeping that joint centered deep in the socket. And reversing. Good. And moving on to your index finger. And reversing. And finding your middle finger. And reverse it. And finding your ring finger. And reverse it. And just note what your other fingers are doing while the one that's moving is in motion. Are they rigid, or can they stay soft and supple? Onto your pinky. And then just relax. So then we're just going to take some cat pawing, I like to call it. So you're going to open and paw. And again, this has an undulating quality to it. So our bodies do like to move in an undulating manner, similar to water. If you imagine waves, a ripple or a movement impetus starts, and then it follows through to an endpoint. And then a new wave starts and follows through to an endpoint. If you imagine a cat and the way that they work really sensually through all of their digits. And then we're going to reverse it. So leading with your fingertips, pulling back and drawing your fingers together. Again, opening, gliding back, and dipping down. So sensing that water-like quality of motion, seeing how smooth you can make all of the edges. It's not about how perfect it is, but how present and how smooth you can keep it. And then just to train our brains a little bit, let's see if we can go one direction with one and one direction with the other. I guess those are the same way, but just see if you can add a little bit of play to it where you're moving in a way that's not exactly symmetrical on both sides. And then whatever you're doing, see if you can reverse it. Just adding another element in of getting your brain woken up. So sometimes things that I find relaxing are not necessarily easy, but they require 100% of my attention. And that has a relaxing quality to it because I'm not able to focus on other things that are bothering me. So it's interesting how feeling challenged can have a tonic effect. And just rest. You can give your hands a gentle shake and then just turn them over and shake them. Good. And then shake them one at a time. And just take a little bit of brushing. So feeling the top side of your wrist and just sending some energy out. And the other side of your wrist and sending some energy out. The other hand. And turning over. And over. And we're just going to rest for a second, and then we're going to finish with one last thing. So getting some good rotational movement through every single joint, through every single pathway in the upper body. So again, just pick a hand and bring it forward. I'm going to start with my thumb, and you're going to rotate your lower arm around that finger or thumb as the pivot point for just a few. And then when you're ready to move on to the next one, you're going to make a connection between your thumb and your other three fingers as you extend your index finger, and then use that as your rotation point. And then just moving on. So extending your bird finger and connecting your other fingers to your thumb as you start to rotate, pivoting in either direction. It's like turning a key. It's as if your digit that's sticking forward is a key and you're turning it in the lock. And your ring finger and your pinky finger. Good. And just bring your hand down and let's switch sides. So moving through your thumb, connecting your fingers to your thumb as you extend your index finger. And moving on to your middle finger. I'll just have to imagine you all in your own space having a qualitative movement experience. And moving on to your ring finger. I do wish we could all be together in person, but this is the next best thing. And moving on to your pinky. And rest. And then just close your eyes for a minute. Let your hands rest in your lap. And notice if you have just more awareness of your forearms, your wrists, and your hands. And maybe just an increase in awareness in that connection of your lower upper body into your neck, your shoulders, and even up into your head. And then you can open your eyes. And we'll just finish with that today. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.